Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. So, unfortunately, within the last few days, I have found out that a few of my tanks are infested, and they're infested with that dreaded shrimp killing organism, the Planaria worm. So, in this video, what I plan on doing is telling you exactly how I plan on killing them and with what. And what I will be using is Panacur C. So, stick around and I'll show you how I do it. So the Planaria worm, that is what I found in about 4 of my aquariums down here in my fish room. I just recently did a video on it, basically explaining what a Planaria worm is, how you might have got it, how you can get rid of it, and so forth. I'll link that above. And in that, I explained I was going to use Panacur C to eliminate them. So in this video, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly how to use this and how I plan on using it to kill the Planaria worm. This is also good for killing Hydra. But before I do that, I just want to say that all my tanks are dirted natural aquariums. So this was a very tough decision for me to be able to use a chemical. I've really been trying not to put chemicals or anything like that within my aquariums. And I just feel like certain situations warrant actions like this. And for me, like I explained in that other video, I breed plants and I sell them occasionally at swap meets. I have shrimp in just about every one of my aquariums. And I also have a few egg scattering fish breeds within my aquariums that I like to breed. And those Planaria are going to eat my shrimp. I've already seen part of my Blue Dream shrimp population decrease. I haven't seen a lot of baby fry from some of the aquariums that I have egg scattering fish in. And like I said, I breed plants and I grow plants and sell them. And I don't want to have that reputation of having Planaria or Planaria eggs on those when I sell them at swap meets. So I feel like I need to take this action to get rid of these worms. Now, if I had an aquarium that just had fish and no shrimp and it didn't really bother me much, I definitely could trap these Planaria worm to kind of manage them, because I don't think you'd ever fully eliminate Planaria worm just by trapping. So I feel like this is the only action I have, is in order to try to eliminate them from my aquariums, because I don't want my shrimp killed. I want to continue breeding fish, and like I said, with selling plants, I don't want that. I wouldn't want to buy plants from somebody that knowingly has Planaria and just doesn't care. So that's not me. So like I said, the natural community to keep natural tanks that I'm a part of, that I'm a big believer in, may not agree with the actions of using this, but that's just something I feel that I need to do for myself and for my hobby down here. So that being said, what is Panacur C? Panacur C is a canine dewormer. It is not originally meant to be for the aquarium hobby. Now, that being said, I did do lots of research on this, and it has been used in the hobby for well over a decade to kill Planaria, like I said, and Hydra. It is good for killing both of them. But how does it work? Well, I'll explain that right now. But you're going to need a few things to do that. One of these packets is 1 gram of Panacur C. So what you need to do is you need to get 100 milliliters of water. So get yourself a measuring cup and fill it up to 100 milliliters, as so. And then you're going to want to add these two together, but you want to make sure that they're shaken and mixed very well. So what I'm going to do is pour my water into a water bottle, like so. Try to get it all in there without spilling. And then I'm going to take my packet of Panacur C and I'm going to dump it in this bottle so that I can mix it thoroughly. So you can also, from what I've read online, add this just as the powder form, but it's a little hard to kind of measure that as to what dosage you want to put in your aquarium compared to mixing it with water. So that's the way that I plan on doing it. So let me get it in here. Now that I got the whole packet in there, I want to put that cap on. And you're going to want to shake it like very good. You want to make sure all those granules for the most part are mixed up with the water. It's going to look white and foamy, not as thick as a milk consistency, but maybe more like a skim milk when you're done. So pretty much like this. So what do you do from there? Now you're going to need a syringe. An oral syringe that you would use for medication is ideal. I have a 10 milliliter one here. Now, how this is going to work, for 1 milliliter of this solution with the medicine and the water will treat 1 gallon of water. So a 10-gallon tank would take 10 milliliters of a solution of this medicine. So forth. 29 gallon would take 29 milliliters. So it's as easy as that. I'm not going to be able to get it out of this bottle. So what I'm going to do is pour some into this container here, and then I'll dose up a dose here for my 10 mils that I plan on treating my white cloud minnow tank behind me, and then I'll show you that. So I have my solution of my Panacur C here mixed up with my 10 milliliter dose to treat my 10-gallon white cloud minnow tank, which is down here. That'll be the first one which I show you. I also need to treat this 10-gallon tank, which also has the worms in there. This was my ground zero tank that had loads and loads and loads of them. So this one will also be treated. This is a 29-gallon that houses my swordtails as of right now. And also this 29-gallon, sorry about the glare. This has my rainbow shiners, and this one as well. I found Planaria worm everywhere in here, and yeah, I want to get them out of here. So those are the tanks I'm going to dose. And one other thing too is it says that you definitely want to remove any snails that you might want, like mystery snails or narite snails. They're told that they can kill them. It's supposed to be shrimp safe, plant safe, and fish safe. I don't know about pest snails yet. I've heard differing opinions that pest snails will survive through this, so we shall find out on that. So with that being said, let's put our first dose into this white cloud minnow tank. And there we go. That's all 10 mils. So what I'm going to do yet too is I think I'm going to turn some air on these tanks. Nowhere does it really say that you need to add air to this. I know sometimes with medications they recommend putting air on because it can kind of make the oxygen levels a little lower, but I'm going to do it just in case. And like I said, I will dose all those other tanks, and then after I do that, I'll get the air on and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I got the air all hooked up. This is the original one I dosed that I showed you. This is the other white cloud breeder tank. Another reason for the oxygen too is to be able to help kind of circulate the medicine throughout the aquariums. This one I got an air stone piped in the front of the tank because it's temporary. I don't plan on keeping it. And I have a mini wave maker in this tank, which I'll be having a review video on. So really fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to kill these with it. All right, so it's been about 5 days since I put that medication in the aquariums. So let me show you what's going on. So this is the original 10-gallon that I showed you when I dosed in the video earlier. Fish are doing fine. Everything looks great. Same with this tank and all the rest, to be honest. I haven't seen a Planaria worm in any of the tanks in probably 24 hours since I dosed. The rainbow shiner tank here, again, sorry for the glare. This one I had seen a bunch of them come out in the glass like hours later, and that was the last I seen of them. So they're gone. Now, one thing you need to note is the next thing you need to do is you need to do a water change. Everything I read is anywhere from 24 to 72 hours later. You want to let it sit in your aquarium. I let it sit for 5 days just to be safe because none of my fish showed or shrimp showed any ill effect towards the medication. They were hunky-dory, like nothing ever happened. So I let it sit in there for 5 days just to make sure everything's saturated to really kill these things. So water changes are the next thing you want to do. How much? I don't know. That kind of varies from what I read. I'm thinking about 50% just to be safe. And then from there, also the note is snails. None of my pest snails were hurt in the process of this. So if you're looking to kill some of your snails with this, I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. Mystery snails and narite snails, on the other hand, from what I heard, they are susceptible to this medication, so just beware of that. And then you're going to need to retreat your tanks. Retreat your tanks in about 2 weeks because of those eggs from the Planaria. If there's any left over within your aquariums, they will hatch and reinfest your tanks again. This medication does not affect any of the eggs. It's only the Planaria themselves. So, like I said, in 2 weeks, you're going to want to retreat your tank again just to make sure you got them all. But that being said, this medication worked great, and I'm very happy I used it. Well, that was my journey using Panacur C to kill those Planaria worm. Now, one thing to note is really make sure you do your research when you want to try to put a medication into your aquarium. Like I said, I struggled with it immensely because really where I'm at in my hobby right now is really the natural way of I don't like to add anything into my aquarium besides food, fish, and plants. That's it. But in some occasions, I feel it's really warranted. And for me, I felt like I needed to do this because, like I said earlier, I sell plants. I have shrimp colonies that I like to breed and potentially sell. And I have some egg scattering fish within some of my aquariums. And I just don't want any of that harmed. I don't want the reputation of selling plants that may have Planaria eggs or Planaria on it. It's just not something I like or want. So I felt this was my solution to that. Now, there's other products like No Planaria, I think, is another one that works very well from things I've read. But that's the course I went. But just make sure you do your research. Research is probably one of the most important things anyone can do within this hobby, really, before you do anything with your aquarium, whether it's setting up, putting new fish, putting medications in. You just want to know what you're doing and what you're getting yourself into. So that being said, this worked. It worked great. I had no ill effects with any of the fish or shrimp. Nothing ever happened, and now I'm going to be doing my water changes, and we'll dose again in a couple weeks. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you maybe learned something. With that being said, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And then always remember to think outside the box and take a step back into nature. Hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.